Hey guys, it's Tyler Zombro from Tread Athletics, and today I wanted to touch on expected numbers, especially looking at Clay Holmes. So piggybacking off of our previous video in regards to ERA and how it's not super indicative of how you're performing on the mound, wanted to take a little bit of a deep dive through Clay's data, kind of some of the numbers that he was expecting, and take you through a little bit of that evolution. I think when you look on the surface, a lot of people may think, oh, he wasn't that good in Pittsburgh, kind of just turned it on in New York. But if we take a little bit of a deeper dive, we can understand that a lot of these outcomes have been predictable for quite a while. He has a lot of outlier features that are really unique, and we're going to take a look at some of those today. When I dive into Clay's data, I'm going to pull up Fangraphs here and just try to get a deeper understanding of how he's pitched throughout his career. Specifically, I'm just going to isolate to 2021. So Clay was dealt at the trade deadline from the Pirates to the Yankees. And when we're looking at Clay's numbers, we really want to see, okay, what is his profile like? Where can he be better? What is he really good at? And when you're looking at these advanced numbers, you can really start to formulate this picture in your head of what a pitcher looks like. So in Clay's example here, we see that the Ks per nine are roughly 9.5. The walks per nine were just over 5. So it tells me that there was a little bit of an element of a command issue perhaps happening. Left on base percentage being 67%. He's not stranding a ton of guys on base, which is unfortunate. We know that that's a pretty big indicator that can reflect in ERA. When we're looking at Clay, this ground ball percentage is incredible. He's been near the tops of the league every year in that regard. You're looking at 73% ground balls. So really an incredible outlier number. And you can imagine the Yankees playing in Yankee Stadium. Ground balls are very appetizing to them to have on their pitching staff. Keep the ball on the ground, it can't leave the ballpark. And Clay is a significant outlier in that regard. Looking at his home run to fly ball rate, being 19% is super high. So with that in mind, we know that this number normally stabilizes at a lower rate. And these metrics over here of FIP and XFIP, specifically XFIP that normalizes for a home run rate, you can see that this number is 3.82. Now FIP doesn't always directly correlate to ERA, but in general they can be pretty close. So when factoring that in, we know that Clay is getting pretty unlucky in terms of the number of fly balls that are turning into home runs. So we know that we can expect that to kind of come down to the median range over time. When we're looking at Clay's individual pitch metrics, I think that's where he really jumps off the chart in terms of how unique and how good he is. So looking at his raw metrics, this is something that we go through inflection points and kind of analyze his pitch data further, but a really good sinker here that has low vert, a slider that he can throw with exceptional velocity, as well as a curveball that he can manipulate well too. All of these are thrown with plus velocity, and we'll look a bit more at those trends here in a second. But overall, you can just really see his arsenal transformation, but all along that sinker is remaining really consistent and a really powerful pitch. Looking at year-to-year metrics for Clay, you really want to see a trend in a guy's stuff. So the expected numbers themselves can heavily be dictated off of how the guy's stuff is playing. So when we're looking at velocity, and for instance here, you see that he averaged 94.2 on the sinker in 18, 94.3 in 19, 92.4 in 20, and then in 2021 he's up to 96.1. So he had a big velocity bump there, which again, we can expect performance to improve with that. All along, we're looking at these movement metrics here, and his consistency in terms of the depth of the sinker has stayed the same. Looking a little bit further, we want to see, okay, we know he's getting hurt with a little bit of bad luck in terms of the home run to fly ball rate. He's not leaving that many people on base. So what are the batted ball outcomes like for Clay? So as we pan across here, you can see that the average exit velocity is 1 mile an hour lower than average. And this number right here is incredible to me that the average launch angle against in Major League Baseball is about 17, and Clay averages -2. To think about that, how many balls are getting hit on the ground is incredible. And again, we know for a hitter, it's way harder to do damage on the ground than in the air. So keeping balls on the ground is a powerful attribute, especially in the modern era of guys trying to lift the ball. As we keep going across here, you see that his percentage of balls in play that are greater than 95 is below average. Percentage of balls in play that are greater than 105 is below average. The percentage of balls that are greater than 95 with a 10-degree or higher launch is about half of Major League Baseball average, and the same thing for balls that are 105 plus in that regard. So we know when he gets hit, and if he gets hit hard, it's almost always on the ground. So a really powerful indicator that he's going to have future success. Guys are not hitting the ball hard off of him, and we know as long as that walk rate stabilized, that was kind of our only knock on him, he was going to be super successful. As we look pitch by pitch, again, comparing him to league average, the average launch angle against on his sinker alone was -6.2 degrees. For league average, it was 10. So huge difference in terms of where the ball is being put in play and the quality of contact with that. So as we dive through these numbers, it just shows you that if we dig a little bit deeper than ERA, we can really understand why a guy is successful or why we think he has a high probability of being successful down the road. And you look at this trade from the Pirates to the Yankees, and I think this is a really good indicator of a team diving a little bit deeper, doing their analysis on their end to see, is this guy going to be successful in the future? And ultimately with Clay, we knew those peripherals were there. So that's just a little bit to piggyback off of our video in regards to ERA. Can we go deeper? Can we look at some more advanced metrics? And can we really start to predict this performance? Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.